Want to learn an hour of fun facts? Subscribe to Zarpado. We're starting now. Neil Harbison is recognized as the first cyborg in history. He was born with achromatopsia, which prevented him from seeing colors, but in 2004, with the help of doctors, he had an antenna implanted in his brain. This antenna allows him to perceive colors, including infrared and ultraviolet, and even hear the frequency of each one. In addition, the antenna gives him the ability to watch videos, listen to music, and even receive calls directly on his head. Bolton is a gravity-defying natural wonder, suspended about 3,300 feet high in the Norwegian fjords. Despite its unsettling appearance, it is firmly wedged between two cliffs, which keeps it stable. With a volume of about 176 cubic feet, it has become a popular tourist destination, where brave souls take photos on it, despite the dizzying abyss that surrounds it. The oldest tree in the world is not a towering giant. It is called Methuselah, a bristlecone pine over 4,800 years old, living somewhere secret in California's White Mountains for its protection. Its seeds already existed when the Egyptians were building the pyramids, making it a silent witness to human history. And speaking of trees, squirrels, despite their reputation as excellent foragers, are responsible for planting thousands of trees every year. This is because they bury their nuts and acorns and simply forget where they put them. And if you think that is strange, imagine an Argentine duck with a penis as long as its body, or the fact that some chicken species can naturally change sex if a female's ovary is damaged and the dormant male sex organ is activated. Crocodiles do not just cry. Their crying is a physiological response when saliva accumulates in their tear ducts while they eat. That is why the saying, "crocodile tears," became popular to refer to hypocrisy. A curious fact about saliva: it contains a substance called opioorphin, which is an analgesic up to 6 times more potent than morphine. Although the amount is minuscule, it is a reminder of the incredible pharmacy that is our own body. Ketchup, now a staple condiment, was sold in the 19th century as a medicine to treat indigestion and diarrhea. And speaking of food, the oldest cheese in the world was found in an Egyptian tomb and is over 3,200 years old. It was made with sheep's and goat's milk. On another note, it is a myth that bulls are enraged by the color red. In fact, they are colorblind. What irritates them is the constant movement of the cape. In Poznan, Poland, the Poznań Ice Festival transforms the market square into a frozen stage. Artists from around the world carve sculptures from blocks of ice in front of the public. It is an unmissable visual experience that attracts both locals and tourists. On a more modern note, there is an experiment that has bus drivers pedaling bicycles while a bus passes by. This allows them to experience firsthand how dangerous it is not to respect the distance from cyclists. In the arts, Tanya Gomelskaya stands out, an artist who fuses painting and sculpture to create three-dimensional works. Her pieces leap off the canvas, exploring emotions like anxiety and playing with surreal textures. In motorcycle safety, there is a helmet windshield wiper. This small, electric, and rechargeable device removes water from the visor and improves visibility in adverse weather conditions. Technology has also reached body art with LED tattoos. These luminous designs use microcircuits and sensors to interact with the body, responding to movements or heart rate, and are emerging as both aesthetic and medical tools. Pure adrenaline is experienced in the sphere of death, where motorcyclists perform stunts inside a spherical metal structure. Thanks to centrifugal force, they defy gravity as they cross paths without colliding. Meet Benjamin Shine, an artist who works magic with tulle. Her sculptures and portraits are born from the simple folding and ironing of fabric, exploring themes such as energy and spirituality. She has collaborated with Maison Margiela and exhibited in museums around the world. The CH-47 Chinook is a twin-rotor military helicopter with an astonishing cargo capacity, up to 10 tons. ideal for transporting troops and equipment across difficult terrain. More curiosities. The Janus tortoise, which has two heads, was born with a condition called bicephaly. Although they share a shell, both heads can act independently. Its name comes from the two-faced Roman god. A true inspiration is Adriana Macias, a Mexican speaker and writer who was born without arms. She uses her feet to perform everyday tasks and motivates others with her message of overcoming adversity, empowerment, and self-love. And speaking of risk, the human cannonball, Luis Munoz, launches himself from a gunpowder-free cannon using compressed air. This act requires precision and extreme physical training. One of the most breathtaking attractions in the circus. Pushing the boundaries of extreme technology, the Terminator robot combines a canine form with surveillance functions. It is equipped with cameras, motion sensors, and even a flamethrower. Perfect for patrolling difficult areas, it moves with agility and transmits data in real time. And speaking of photos, Claudio Piccoli is an Italian photographer who specializes in capturing dogs in motion. Internationally renowned, he shares images brimming with energy and emotion. He also teaches his technique through workshops and online courses. At the crossroads of culture and pop art, the Pokémon X Koge exhibition unites the Pokémon universe with traditional Japanese techniques. Ceramics, weaving, and metalwork are combined with Pikachu and friends. The result is a fusion of the contemporary and the ancestral that celebrates Japanese creativity. Returning to the animal kingdom, the teacup pig is a miniature version of traditional pigs. Weighing no more than about 66 pounds, they win hearts with their cuteness. They are intelligent and trainable, but require special care to maintain their health and well-being. From West Africa, the Zangbeto dance blends the spiritual with the artistic. These traditional guardians spin in conical straw costumes, completely concealing the person embodying them. Their dances, accompanied by ceremonial music, command respect and mystery. Now check this fact about the Abode of the Gods, located in Cusco, Peru. This sculptural space pays tribute to the Inca worldview with monumental figures carved in stone. Created by the artist Michael de Teton, it unites contemporary art with the mystical landscapes of the Andes. Moving from design to entertainment, the YouTuber Laser Gadgets created a laser gun that looks like it came straight out of a science fiction movie. The most incredible thing is that it can pop balloons using a powerful blue beam. In the world of motorsports, Luis Rodriguez, a fan from New Jersey, created a life-size Hot Wheels car to celebrate the brand's 50th anniversary. It took him more than a year to build the body entirely by hand. From Russia, we travel to Switzerland, where the Animal robot was designed by engineers from ETH Zurich and Beek. This quadruped can walk or roll depending on the terrain, overcoming obstacles with ease. Meanwhile, an artist called Rescue and Restore restored a rusted clown bench, removing every trace of decay. The result was as striking as it was terrifying, because the clown is still frightening. But if you prefer something visually stunning, Tobias Gremler digitized kung fu movements to transform them into abstract figures using motion capture technology. A pure visual spectacle. Still on the subject of technology, Ian Davis created his own metallic-looking myoelectric prosthesis. Inspired by Terminator, he designed a hand capable of moving its fingers and producing mechanical sounds when flexed. Meanwhile, Sylvia, a contestant on America's Got Talent, stunned everyone by shooting a crossbow at her own head. And the best part? She hit the apple perfectly. Taking to the streets of Frankfurt, athlete Jason Paul performed a parkour course in reverse. The Red Bull team then edited the footage to create an illusion that defies logic. Now, have you ever seen a crack filled with people? Spanish artist Pijac drew thousands of human figures to simulate a crack in the facade of the Marqués de Valdecilla Hospital in Santander. It became a symbol of resilience during the height of the pandemic. Wasps also have their own unique creations. Some species build nests that glow under ultraviolet light. Scientists are still investigating why these insects make such luminous nests. The creator human controller designed a Rubik's Cube that can float and be solved using only magnetic fields. It seems like magic, but it is pure engineering. Japanese researchers at Keio University created a robotic tail for humans called Arke. They claim it improves balance, just like in animals. Actor Tom Cruise trained for a full year to perform a scene in which he jumps off a cliff on a motorcycle in Mission Impossible, and he repeated it 6 times. In a more bizarre creation, Danny Huan built an animatronic tricycle with a chainsaw as its base. The assembled robot looks like something out of a comedic horror film. What happens if you blow out a tire 66 feet below a frozen lake? The Beyond the Press channel tried it, and the result was a unique visual explosion. Matt Tomasello built a skateboard that transforms mid-trick. Its sections twist and return to their original shape, allowing him to perform maneuvers that seem straight out of science fiction. Among the strangest mammals, platypuses are a true anomaly. They are the only venomous mammals. The males have spurs on their hind legs that release a venom potent enough to cause excruciating pain in humans. And to top it all off, despite being mammals, they lay eggs. The speed of rain on Earth is not all that impressive, as the maximum speed at which a raindrop can fall is 18 miles per hour. Air resistance acts as a brake to prevent us from being rained down. Coca-Cola was originally sold as a brain tonic to cure headaches. Its inventor, John Pemberton, a pharmacist, marketed it in 1886. At that time, the drink contained cocaine, but it was removed in 1903. And the chewing gum we know today was invented from a substance called chicle, which is the sap of a tree that the Maya and Aztecs used to chew. Wedding rings also have a curious history. The ancient Egyptians believed that the ring finger of the left hand had a vein, the vena amoris, or vein of love, that went directly to the heart. Although modern anatomy has shown this to be untrue, the tradition has persisted to this day. And if you thought fingerprints were unique, there is a medical rarity called adermatoglyphics, a genetic condition that causes people to be born without fingerprints. It is extremely rare and is popularly known as the immigrant disease, since those affected have trouble passing through customs without this biometric identification. Michelangelo's David is one of the most famous sculptures in the world, but one small detail is often overlooked. David's right hand is disproportionately large. Art historians believe this was not a mistake, but a deliberate decision by Michelangelo to emphasize David's strength, as he was known in the Bible for his strong hand. And finally, the artist Banksy, the world's most famous graffiti artist, is a mysterious figure. His true identity remains a secret, even though his works sell for millions of dollars. His graffiti often appears in unexpected places and is removed or covered up as quickly as it appears, which only adds to its value. In 2018, at auction, one of Banksy's works, Girl with Balloon, self-destructed via a hidden mechanism in the frame seconds after being sold for $1.4 million. What was thought to be a catastrophe for the buyer actually doubled the artwork's value. The famous philosopher Socrates wrote nothing. Everything we know about his ideas and life comes from the writings of his disciples, primarily Plato. This has led historians to question whether the ideas we attribute to him are truly those of Socrates or those of his brilliant student. Elsewhere in the world, tuk-tuk races in Sri Lanka take these 3-wheeled vehicles across extreme terrain: jungles, rivers, mud, and mountains. Breakdowns are common, so the team must be ready to make repairs instantly. Switching to the monumental, Northeast Greenland's national park is so vast that it surpasses countries like Venezuela in size. There is no permanent human population, but there are species adapted to the frigid Arctic Circle. And if it is about seeing the invisible, the Schlieren system, or lining, allows us to visualize heat or gases that we do not normally perceive. Using mirrors, cameras, and light, it reveals phenomena such as the hot air from a clothes dryer in operation. Chile was the site of the most powerful earthquake ever recorded, the Valdivia earthquake of 1960. It reached a magnitude of 9.5, lasted more than 10 minutes, and was followed by a tsunami that caused thousands of deaths. High in China, the Red Cloud and Golden Summit temples rise atop Mount Fanjing. To reach them, you have to climb 9,000 steps and cross a bridge between peaks. The pygmy marmoset is the smallest monkey on the planet. It weighs just about 4 ounces and measures about 6 inches, although its tail can be longer. It lives in the Amazon and feeds on plant sap. And yes, the Simpsons house exists. It was built in 1997 in Henderson, Nevada, as an exact replica of the house from the TV series. Today, it is a private home with more subdued colors and a garden covered in stones. In the world of sports, Julia Vins earned the nickname the Muscular Barbie. At just 24 years old, she managed to deadlift 600 pounds. She also studies law while preparing for new competitions. Her imposing physique and discipline have made her a global sensation. Richard Oliver, a 45-year-old painter from Los Angeles, creates oil landscapes so realistic they look like photographs. His technique comes from the 19th century French Impressionists, blending tones and colors with great mastery. Jay, known as Hydroman, performs underwater dance routines for 5 minutes in a 6-foot-deep pool. His talent has helped boost his music career, which is on the rise. The dugong, called the real-world mermaid, is a giant, gentle mammal that inhabits the Pacific and Indian Oceans. They are peaceful, preferring to be alone or in pairs, and their conservation is vital for the balance of marine ecosystems. Dylan Balog, nicknamed Brave Dylan, jumped from a bridge over 150 feet high and lived to tell the tale. Before jumping, he threw stones into the water to break the surface tension and thus avoid accidents. A Tesla Model S Plaid, one of the world's fastest electric cars, was almost completely submerged in water. Surprisingly, its electric motor works without the need for air, and the vehicle completed the journey almost like a submarine. Ursula Musch, a German woman living in the Dubai desert, cares for more than 40 camels. Without electricity or running water, she has adopted a Bedouin lifestyle and feels closer to her animals than to modern conveniences. The Madonna della Corona Church, built in 1530, is located on the slopes of Monte Baldo in Italy. It is a sanctuary suspended between heaven and earth, accessed by paths surrounded by nature that fascinate tourists and worshippers alike. Jan Håkan Eriksson is an artist who films himself popping balloons in various ways. His work combines creativity and fun, showcasing different objects and techniques for bursting balloons. The 90-meter-long yacht Olivia has a futuristic design with an inverted bow. Built in Germany in 2020 by Ulstein, it includes a cinema, swimming pool, gym, spa, and helipad, and is valued at 200 million euros. Kyle Marker, at about 6,560 feet, set his parachute on fire using a flare gun for an extra adrenaline rush. Fortunately, he had a spare parachute, which he deployed without incident. The Solkan Railway Bridge in Slovenia is the world's longest stone arch at 729 feet. Built in 1906 from limestone blocks, it withstood damage in World War I and has been fully restored. Hannah Grace, a former professional chef, now creates optical illusions with makeup. She uses shadows, tones, and angles to trick the eye and achieve stunning facial designs. In the Middle Ages, spices were a sign of wealth and status. A pound of pepper was sometimes more valuable than gold. Its high value fueled great expeditions as kingdoms sought new routes to reach the sources of these valuable commodities. Food is more than just sustenance. It has its own stories. For example, Campbell's tomato soup was not the company's first product. Initially, they sold canned asparagus. Tomato soup became popular thanks to the idea of an executive who realized that by concentrating the soup, people could simply add water to make it at home, making it very affordable. Banana bread arose from necessity in the United States. During the Great Depression, housewives did not want to waste ripe bananas. They began using the soft, almost rotten bananas to bake bread, which became a staple food during that time. Marshmallow fudge has a very different origin than the one we know today. Originally obtained from the roots of the marshmallow plant, it was used medicinally to soothe sore throats and inflammation. It was not until the late 19th century that production became industrialized to make the sweets we enjoy today. In Canada, an impressive sculpture, the Veiled Virgin, created by Giovanni Strazza, is preserved. It is so delicate that the marble appears to be a real veil over the Virgin's face. Its realism conveys a sense of gentleness that captivates all who behold it. In China, the Harbin Ice and Snow Festival transforms the city into a frozen spectacle. Giant sculptures made from blocks of the Songhua River shimmer with colorful lights. In addition to the sculptures, there are art competitions, winter sports, and cultural exhibitions. Sweet sapphire grapes, also called sapphire grapes, are distinguished by their elongated shape and almost black skin. Their sweet flavor makes them irresistible. Although they originated in California, they are also cultivated in countries like Italy, Spain, and Australia thanks to their ideal climates. Yopperlite stones may seem ordinary at first glance, but under ultraviolet light they reveal a dazzling display of colors. Their luster, due to the sodalite they contain, can range from yellow to vibrant red. These stones are highly coveted by collectors for their unique beauty. The giant rhinoceros beetle can measure up to about 7 inches. Native to Central and South America, it possesses surprising strength. It can lift 850 times its own weight. Males have a long horn for fighting over food or mates, although they are harmless to humans. There are farms dedicated exclusively to breeding cockroaches. These facilities have highly controlled temperature and humidity to optimize reproduction, and their offspring are used in the pharmaceutical, cosmetic, and food industries for their high protein content and medicinal properties. Moving from the laboratory to tradition, in countries like Austria, Germany, and Hungary, the Krampus parade is celebrated, featuring a creature that is half demon, half goat. The streets fill with characters in terrifying costumes, grotesque masks, and torches, creating a chilling yet festive atmosphere. And if we travel even further back in time, we find Anubis, the Egyptian god of death. With a human body and the head of a jackal, he guided souls to the final judgment and protected mummification rituals, making him a central figure in beliefs about the afterlife. In a very different setting, silent parties are quiet gatherings where each attendee listens to music through wireless headphones. Different music channels can be selected, and everyone can dance without disturbing the neighbors. A blend of technology and urban fun. Geta are traditional Japanese sandals associated with Tengu, mythical creatures from Japanese folklore. Unlike ordinary sandals, they have a single central prong, requiring considerable balance while walking. Made of wood with fabric straps, they were originally used to enhance stability and strength, and today are more of a cultural symbol than practical footwear. The golden scarab shines as if bathed in gold. Its transparent exoskeleton reflects light so intensely that it changes hue depending on its emotion or the angle of the light. This ability makes it an expert at camouflaging itself among leaves and branches. Speaking of unusual things, Eduardochi is a creation by KFC Spain that blends 90s nostalgia with modern marketing. It is a Tamagotchi-like device shaped like a chicken leg that is controlled through a cell phone. This idea resonates with millennials and Gen Z through humor and nostalgia. Wedding cake was not eaten in ancient times. In ancient Rome, the bride and groom married by breaking a barley loaf over the bride's head. This was done to bring good luck and fertility, and the crumbs were shared with the guests as a symbol of the union. The Oxford English Dictionary is the world's largest book. Published in 20 volumes, each contains more than 10,000 pages. It took over 70 years to complete, with the help of thousands of volunteers. Sports are an endless source of stories. Ping pong, or table tennis, has a rather unusual origin. It was invented in Victorian England as a form of indoor tennis. The paddles were corks, and the ball was a celluloid ball. The famous Ice Bucket Challenge was not just a simple internet game. Despite seeming like a fad, it helped the ALS Association raise more than $115 million in 2014. The challenge became so popular so quickly that in just a couple of months, it became a global movement. The most viewed video in YouTube history for a long time was not a pop song. It was Baby Shark, a children's song. Its viral success demonstrates the immense power of the children's audience on the platform, surpassing videos by artists like Justin Bieber and Ed Sheeran, and reaching billions of views. The first viral video in history is considered to be Dancing Baby from 1996. It was a three-dimensional animation of a baby dancing to a song by the band Blue Suede. Although the video quality was low, its popularity spread through internet forums and emails before modern social media existed. The Crystal Man, a Chinese artist, holds the record for the person who has walked the farthest on broken glass. In 2019, he walked 1.5 kilometers across a bed of shattered glass without a single scratch. It is a feat that demonstrates mental strength over physical limitations. In 2021, a team of Japanese scientists achieved the world record for the fastest data transfer. They used a new fiber optic technology to transmit data at a speed of 319 terabits per second. At that speed, you could download the entire Netflix movie library in less than a second. Mobile phone use has radically changed our lives. On average, a person checks their phone 58 times a day. 75% of users check their phones at least once an hour, demonstrating the addiction we have developed to these devices. Swimming across the Atlantic Ocean is one of the most extreme feats. In 2011, French swimmer Benoit Lecomte attempted the feat of swimming across the ocean. He did not succeed in a single attempt, but swam 3,717 miles over 73 days. Despite not completing the crossing, his attempt helped collect scientific data and document ocean pollution. Mountaineer Reinhold Messner was the first person to summit Mount Everest without supplemental oxygen. His feat, achieved in 1978, proved that it was possible to reach the world's highest peak without the aid of oxygen tanks. The mountaineering community considered it one of the greatest achievements of the 20th century. The man who ran 100 marathons in 100 days is an example of human resilience. Ben Smith ran 100 marathons in 100 consecutive days in 2016, raising over £200,000 for the British charity Mind, which helps people with mental health issues. The world's richest woman has a story of overcoming adversity. Despite what one might think, Françoise Bettencourt-Meyers, the L'Oréal heiress, did not have an easy life. At one point, she had to fight in court to gain control of her inheritance, proving that wealth also comes with its own challenges. The largest number of people dancing simultaneously in one place was in India in 2021. Nearly 10,000 people gathered in Mumbai to dance to Don Omar's song Danza Kuduro for an hour. The world's largest diamond is the Star of Africa, which weighs 530.2 carats. It was discovered in 1905 in South Africa and is now part of the British Crown Jewels. It is so valuable that it is considered priceless. The oldest person to skydive is Dorothy Hoffman, who was 102 years old when she made a tandem jump. She said she did it to celebrate her birthday and felt more alive than ever. Specialty coffee has popularized brewing methods like pour-over. This process brings out the coffee's flavor and aroma notes more cleanly. Professional tasters can distinguish up to 500 different flavors in a well-prepared cup of coffee. Sourdough bread, which has gained popularity, is a very old type of bread. Its natural fermentation makes it easier to digest and more nutritious than commercial bread. Some bakers have maintained their sourdough starter for decades, passing it down from generation to generation. The trash tag challenge went viral in 2019. Thousands of people around the world posted photos of areas polluted by trash before and after cleaning them up. The challenge helped raise awareness about pollution and mobilize volunteers for cleanup efforts. The youngest person to climb Mount Everest is a 13-year-old American. Jordan Romero achieved this feat in 2010, surpassing the previous record of 16 years. Romero made the climb alongside his father and stepmother, becoming an inspiring example of perseverance. The largest number of people in a video conference was a milestone of the pandemic. The Guinness World Record is held by the Hindu Diaspora Conference in 2020, with 56,000 participants in a single Zoom call. This event demonstrated how technology could connect large audiences remotely. The record for the most prodigious memory belongs to Russian scientist Solomon Shurashevsky. He could memorize lists of thousands of words flawlessly and could recall a conversation word for word, no matter how much time had passed. The feat of climbing the Burj Khalifa without a harness was accomplished by French YouTuber and athlete Remy Lucidi, who tragically died in 2023. His attempt, which went viral on social media, sparked a major debate about extreme risks taken in pursuit of internet fame. Artificial intelligence is making inroads into music. A Google project, Magenta, created an AI called NSynth that can generate new sounds and melodies by combining the styles of different artists. It has not yet been used on a large scale, but it offers a glimpse into the future of music creation. The Arctic permafrost, the permanently frozen ground, is beginning to thaw. This not only releases enormous quantities of methane, a greenhouse gas, but is also unearthing ancient viruses and bacteria that have remained frozen for thousands of years. The world's fastest robot is called Cheetah. This robot, developed by the Massachusetts Institute of Technology, can run at speeds of up to 62 miles per hour, making it faster than Usain Bolt himself. The world's most expensive perfume is called Clive Christian Numero 1 Imperial Majesty. A single bottle of this perfume, made with diamonds and gold, can cost more than $200,000. Only a handful have ever been produced and sold. The first book printed with movable type was the Gutenberg Bible. It was printed in the 15th century and is considered the most valuable book in the world. It is estimated that there are only 49 copies of this book in existence, and each one is worth millions of dollars. The clock on London's Big Ben stopped for the first time during World War II. Despite the German bombing raids, the clock only stopped for a few minutes before restarting, which was considered a symbol of British resilience. In 2005, French freediver Stéphane Mifsud set an incredible record by holding his breath underwater for over 11 minutes. The human body, when properly trained, can slow down vital functions and enter an oxygen-saving state similar to that of certain marine mammals. It is a true demonstration of what the mind and body can achieve together. The Guinness World Record for strength is held by Icelander Hafthor Bjornsson, known as the Mountain in Game of Thrones. He managed to deadlift 501 kilograms, surpassing historical records. To put that into perspective, it is like lifting a small car off the ground without assistance, a feat that combines genetics, extreme training, and discipline. Another amazing natural feat is that of the giant sequoia trees in California. These trees reach over 328 feet in height and can live for more than 3,000 years. Surviving storms, fires, and climate change for so long is a monumental achievement. One of them, called General Sherman, is the largest living organism on the planet by volume. The history of aviation also boasts unique records. In 2005, pilot Steve Fawcett circumnavigated the globe in a single-flight airplane without refueling, a journey that lasted over 67 hours. It was a feat of endurance, engineering, and precision that marked a milestone in aerial exploration. African marathon runners also achieve astonishing feats. Eliud Kipchoge, from Kenya, managed to run a marathon in under 2 hours in 2019, although it was not officially ratified due to the event's conditions. Even so, he demonstrated that the human body can break barriers that once seemed insurmountable. Sharik Tovar, a young Colombian woman, can sleep for up to 70 days straight like something from a fairy tale. But it is not magic or laziness. She suffers from Kleine-Levin syndrome, also known as Sleeping Beauty syndrome, a rare neurological disorder. During these long sleeps, her body rests while her mind disconnects from the world. Upon waking, she sometimes does not even remember her family. Zinedine Zidane not only charmed audiences with his talent on the pitch, but also in film. He appeared in the fun movie Asterix at the Olympic Games, playing a very skillful Egyptian with the ball. In his scene, he steals the ball from a poor guy trying to impress a girl. Who would have thought Zizou also had acting talent, a star on and off the field? In Vietnam, there is a bridge that not only connects roads, but also puts on a show worthy of a movie. It is shaped like a dragon, and although it looks like a normal structure during the day, it transforms at night. Every weekend, this metallic dragon breathes fire for 2 minutes and then surprises everyone with a 3-minute jet of water. The rain room is a magical room where it rains without you getting wet, like having superpowers. Since 2018, this exhibit has traveled to museums around the world, astonishing everyone. The trick is a system with cameras that track your movements and stop the rain just before it touches you. The water is recycled and falls only where no one is standing. It is like walking in the rain without an umbrella and without a care in the world. Ashton Kutcher, known for his Hollywood roles, has an unusual physical characteristic. His 2 toes on his right foot are fused together. This is not a joke or glue, but a congenital condition. The index and ring toes of his foot form a kind of double toe. Although it is not visible at first glance, those who notice it are surprised by this peculiarity that makes him even more unique. In one of the most shocking scenes of Poltergeist, the famous mud pool, the skeletons you see are not props, but real ones. The production obtained 3 authentic skeletons from India, as they were cheaper than props. The actors who participated in the scene did not learn the truth until years after the premiere. In the Middle East, camel racing has a futuristic twist. The jockeys are robots. Especially in Qatar, these small androids ride well-trained and cared for camels like elite athletes. Since 2005, they have replaced human jockeys and are now remotely controlled. They even carry a walkie-talkie so the owner can talk to the camel during the race. Technology and tradition running side by side. Matti Benedetto has created a curious invention, a testicle cooler as he calls it. It connects to the air conditioner and through a hose directs cool air directly to the private parts. Although it may sound strange, the idea makes sense for those summer days when the heat seems unbearable. Simba, a goat born in Karachi, Pakistan, holds the title of having the world's largest ears, measuring about 21 inches long each. This unique feature has made her a sensation, attracting attention for her peculiarity. Although she is not an ordinary goat, her ear size makes her stand out from the rest. Extreme ironing is probably the most unusual sport you have ever heard of. Ironing clothes in extreme environments. From the top of a mountain to underwater or hanging from a statue, anything goes as long as there is an ironing board. Born in the United Kingdom in 1997, it blends domesticity with adrenaline. Ironing while skydiving? Yes, that counts too. A very creative way to get shirts perfectly pressed and full of excitement. Aristotelis Valaorides, a 65-year-old Cypriot, danced with 319 glasses balanced on his head. Since 1995, he has been perfecting this unusual skill, moving without spilling a drop. With just 20 seconds of rhythm and balance, he surpassed the previous record of 270 glasses. A true dance juggler. Although they look like cuddly living teddy bears, slow lorises have a venomous side. They are the only known primates that produce toxins, thanks to a gland in their arm. When threatened, they lick this gland and bite, injecting the venom. In humans, it can cause anything from swelling to severe allergic reactions. Small, adorable, and deadly. In the village of Huangluo, China, women of the Yao ethnic group sport hair over 6.5 feet long, like real-life Rapunzels. For them, hair is a symbol of luck, longevity, and beauty, and they only cut it once in their lives. They also keep it dark and shiny with an ancient secret, washing it with rice water. Although it may look like a snake is yawning, it is actually doing something much more strategic. Just as an athlete stretches before a game, snakes open their mouths wide to align their jaws, especially after eating a large prey item. This yawn helps them prepare their jaws for the next action, whether it is eating or simply moving. The famous bathtub scene in Mary Poppins is not as magical as it seems. It is pure camera trickery. To create the effect of Emily Blunt vanishing into the water, the bathtub had a hole in the bottom, through which a slide was installed that took her to a safe area under the stage. To make it even more realistic, the bathtub was filled with bubbles. Do not worry, the slide was covered with soft mats so Emily would not get hurt while sliding down. In Seoul, South Korea, there is a cafe that turns reality into a cartoon. It is called Cafe Yeonam-dong 239-20, and its decor is completely inspired by minimalist illustrations. The walls, furniture, and objects are drawn in a way that makes you feel like you are inside a two-dimensional fairy tale. Visitors can take photos in this unique environment. It is like stepping into a comic book. Jumpy is a very special dog, trained by his owner to write his name with his paw. With a paintbrush in hand and blue paint, Jumpy demonstrates his artistic talent. His owner has patiently trained him to achieve this incredible trick. A maelstrom is a powerful whirlpool that forms when two currents meet, creating a moving vortex. In Viking times, these whirlpools were feared for their ability to sink large ships easily. Although modern ships are generally safe, cruise ships caught in one can still face giant waves. In extreme situations, a maelstrom can act like an underwater black hole, swallowing everything in its path. Imagine a phone so small it fits in the palm of your hand. The Zonko Tiny T1 is the world's tiniest mobile phone, as small as a thumb. Despite its size, it is fully functional. You can make calls and send messages without any problems. Weighing about half an ounce and measuring roughly 0.8 by 1.8 inches, it is so compact you would be surprised it still has room for a SIM card. Velox is an amazing robot from Player Energy Systems, capable of moving across almost any surface, including water. Its innovative design, featuring undulating fins, allows it to swim and crawl with ease. This robot has applications in rescue missions, exploration, and supply delivery in difficult terrain. Thanks to its versatility, it can adapt to different environments, from rocky ground to aquatic surfaces. In a surprising King Kong exhibit at the Empire State Building, the iconic New York Tower was transformed into a surreal stage set. The windows were replaced with monitors displaying breathtaking views of the city, while a pair of fake hands of the giant ape emerged from the top. In Florida, United States, a unique restaurant, McGuire's Irish Pub, has a rather peculiar tradition. Customers stick $1 bills on the walls or ceiling of the establishment. According to the restaurant, nearly $1 million adorn the place. In a gesture of solidarity, the owners decided to donate this impressive sum of money to help the victims of Hurricane Dorian. Julian Voss Andrie's sculptures appear solid, but they conceal a fascinating visual trick. From one angle, they look like solid steel figures. From another, they disappear. They are made with parallel sheets that play with light and perspective. It is like seeing a modern ghost merging with the landscape. Art that changes depending on where you look at it. Water bottles? So last season, Uho is an edible bubble that holds water in a membrane made of algae and plants. It was created by the company Skipping Rocks Lab as an eco-friendly alternative to plastic. You can drink it and then eat it. The Anantara Golden Triangle Resort in Thailand offers a unique experience with its transparent bubble rooms, perfect for observing elephants in their natural habitat. In addition to being a unique experience, part of the resort's profits go to a foundation dedicated to rescuing elephants in Asia. Rob Spence is a Canadian filmmaker who, after losing sight in his right eye due to an accident, decided to replace it with a wireless video camera, becoming a cyborg. At age 9, a shotgun accident caused permanent damage to his eye, leading to its removal in 2007. Instead of opting for a traditional prosthesis, he collaborated with engineers to create one. In 1992, Michael Jackson and Michael Jordan teamed up to record the iconic music video for Jam, one of the hits from Jackson's album Dangerous. This collaboration became a historic milestone, bringing together two of the most influential figures in entertainment and sports. During filming on a basketball court, Jackson tried to learn some of Jordan's tricks, while the NBA star attempted to follow the King of Pop's complex dance moves. A crossover between musical and athletic talent. Rolled ice cream, or Thai ice cream, is a delicious innovation that is quickly prepared on a frozen metal sheet. The liquid mixture is poured onto the cold surface, creating a thin layer that freezes instantly. Then, using spatulas, it is scraped and rolled into small rolls, which are served in a cup to enjoy. In Germany, the University of Kiel transformed its main building into a giant Tetris console. The facade became an interactive screen where blocks fell in real time, as if the building itself were playing. This project combined art, technology, and gamer nostalgia, attracting attention and smiles. It was a brilliant way to connect architecture with the digital world. Sandboarding is like surfing sand mountains. You hop on a board and launch yourself down giant dunes at full speed. It is the hot weather version of snowboarding, and you can do it standing, sitting, or lying down. You do not need snow, just courage and a desire to slide. Ideal for adrenaline seekers in the middle of the desert. Baird's tapir, the largest land mammal in Central America, is a fascinating animal belonging to the tapir family. With its robust body and short legs, it has a flexible trunk that helps it feed on leaves and fruit. Its dark brown fur is accented by a lighter patch on its neck and chest. The Giant's Causeway in Northern Ireland seems straight out of a mythological tale. It consists of more than 40,000 stone columns, most of them hexagonal, formed 60 million years ago by cooled lava. Some even have 8 sides, like a giant natural jigsaw puzzle. But local legend has another version. It is said to have been built by a colossus. Antoine Griezmann not only shines on the football field, he also has a unique family coincidence. His 3 children were born on the same day. Mia, Amaro, and Alba were all born on April 8th, but in different years, 2016, 2019, and 2021. This date has become so special that it is celebrated in a big way at the Griezmann household, 1 party, 3 cakes, and lots of joy every year. Although jellyfish are poisonous to most marine animals, sea turtles have an incredible resistance to their toxins. Their digestive system and bodies are immune to the stinging cells, allowing them to eat them without any problem. This gives them an advantage when feeding on creatures that others avoid. Their anatomy allows them to enjoy a feast that would be lethal for others. Haumea is a dwarf planet with a very particular shape. It looks like a giant potato floating in space. Although it is similar in size to Pluto, it has its own style with a pair of rings, as if it wanted to imitate Saturn. It is located beyond Neptune at the outer reaches of the solar system. Its elongated shape and rapid rotation make it one of the most curious bodies orbiting the Sunday. The Titanic could be resurrected in 2027, but with a modern twist. Blue Star Line, led by Australian entrepreneur Clive Palmer, is building an exact replica of the famous ocean liner, the Titanic II. This impressive project, originally planned for 2022, will now set sail in June 2027. The ship will maintain the classic style of the original, but with technological improvements that guarantee greater safety and comfort. It will also follow the same historic route from Southampton to New York, reviving the magic of a golden age. Akal Teke horses are famous for their elegance, but some can be born hairless due to a rare genetic condition called naked foal syndrome. This disorder prevents foals of this breed from developing their characteristic coat. In addition to hairlessness, affected horses may experience problems such as dental malformations, digestive disorders, and persistent diarrhea. This rare condition is hereditary and passed down within the breed. In 2013, a team of Chinese scientists revolutionized dentistry by creating human teeth using stem cells extracted from urine. They implanted these cells into the kidneys of mice, and within 3 weeks, they were able to grow complete dental structures with enamel and pulp. This breakthrough opened new possibilities for dental regeneration in humans. In Japan, the Mori Building Digital Art Museum Team Lab Borderless offers a completely different art experience. Here you will not find traditional paintings or sculptures. Instead, digital art comes to life and constantly changes. The works adapt to the movement of visitors, creating an immersive and dynamic environment. The museum uses cutting-edge technology to merge art with interactivity. Meet Crystal, a monkey who has made a name for herself in Hollywood. Known for her role in the film The Hangover, Crystal has appeared in more than 20 films throughout her career. Her acting skills have made her one of the highest-paid animals in the industry, earning more than many humans. The world's smallest movie is called A Boy and His Atom, and it is made with real atoms. IBM scientists used a microscope so powerful that it can move atoms one by one to create this mini animation. Each frame was assembled at the atomic scale and then magnified 100 million times. The result is an adorable story made with the most basic matter in the universe. Guinness World Records recognized it as the tiniest movie ever created. The world's largest Christmas tree is on a mountain. In Gubbio, Italy, they create a giant tree every year using lights that cover more than 2,450 feet in height. It is not a real tree, but a spectacular light installation that transforms the entire hillside. It can be seen from miles away. An underwater museum? Yes, it exists. It is called Musa and it is in Cancun, Mexico. There, more than 500 sculptures rest on the seabed, creating a gallery that you can only visit by diving or snorkeling. It is art, nature, and adventure all in one. On the island of Cyprus, there is a city known as Varosha, is a complete ghost town, sealed off by the military since 1974. Once a popular luxury destination, the area was abandoned after the Turkish invasion and has remained untouched for almost 5 decades. The wasabi commonly consumed in most sushi restaurants outside Japan is not authentic wasabi japonicum, but a substitute made with horseradish, mustard, and green food coloring. Real wasabi is extremely difficult to cultivate and preserve, making it very expensive and rare outside the producing regions. Buzkashi is a national sport in Afghanistan played on horseback. It is essentially a much rougher version of polo. Instead of a ball, the object of the game is to drag the body of a headless goat or calf across the opposing team's goal line. The Turin Papyrus, an ancient Egyptian document, contains a list of kings of ancient Egypt that includes not only historical pharaohs, but also gods who supposedly ruled before the unification of the country. This record, written in hieratic script and dated to the reign of Ramses II, is crucial for chronology, but raises questions about the mythical periods that preceded documented history. The city of La Rinconada in Peru is considered the highest permanent settlement in the world, located more than 16,700 feet above sea level in the Andes. This mining town sits at the foot of a glacier, and living conditions are extremely harsh because of the cold and the lack of oxygen. In 1989, the fast food chain Taco Bell tried to capitalize on the announcement that the Russian space station Mir was falling. They proposed that if it crashed onto a giant floating target they had placed in the Pacific, they would give every American a free taco. Chewing gum, in its earliest form, was chewed by the Maya and the Aztecs, who used the milky sap of the sapodilla tree known as chicle. This natural gum was chewed to freshen breath and suppress hunger. In South Korea, it is considered bad luck to write the name of a living person in red ink. Historically, red ink was used to write the names of the deceased in family records, so using it for the living is associated with wishing them bad fortune or even death. The town of Barrow-Cheagvik, Alaska, experiences a phenomenon known as polar night, where the sun sets in November and does not rise again for more than 65 days. During this time, the town remains in total darkness or constant twilight, which profoundly affects the daily lives and biology of its residents. Singing sand is a rare geological phenomenon where sand dunes emit a loud, vibrant, deep sound similar to an organ or an airplane drone when conditions are right. This occurs when grains of sand of very uniform size slide down the slope at a specific speed. The urban legend that crocodiles or alligators live in the sewers of New York City became popular in the 1930s. The story claims that alligators bought as exotic pets were flushed down the toilet when they grew too large and survived underground. In Steven Spielberg's film Jaws, released in 1975, the mechanical shark nicknamed Bruce constantly malfunctioned and caused many production delays. Because of these problems, Spielberg had to get creative and chose to show the shark as little as possible, relying instead on suspense and suggestion. The famous Captain Crunch cereal character Captain Crunch is actually named Horatio Magellan Crunch. Despite his title, he has never been proven to be a real captain, which has led to humorous debates in pop culture. In Germany, there is a tradition called Polterabend, celebrated the night before some weddings. At this gathering, guests break porcelain and other ceramic objects on the floor. The bride and groom must clean up the pieces together to symbolize their ability to face life's challenges as a team. In ancient Greece, a form of legal punishment known as ostracism was used to exile any citizen considered a threat to democracy. Citizens voted by writing the person's name on fragments of pottery called ostraca. The famous year without a summer of 1816 was caused by the massive eruption of Mount Tambora in Indonesia the previous year, one of the most powerful volcanic events ever recorded. The enormous amount of ash and sulfur dioxide released into the atmosphere blocked sunlight around the world. The 1939 film Gone with the Wind had to halt production for 2 years after Margaret Mitchell published the book. This was because the studios did not believe any existing actress was suitable to play Scarlett O'Hara, launching a massive nationwide search. The chosen one, Vivien Leigh, was finally cast almost 2 years after the casting began. The first digital camera in history was invented by Steve Sasson, a Kodak engineer, in 1975. This camera was about the size of a toaster, recorded black and white images on a cassette tape, and took 23 seconds to capture a photo. Speed skating is one of the oldest sports featured in the Winter Olympic Games, and it was in this sport that the famous skater Eric Heiden achieved an extraordinary record. At the 1980 Winter Olympics in Lake Placid, he won all 5 individual speed skating events, setting the record for the most individual gold medals won at a single Winter Games. President Theodore Roosevelt survived an assassination attempt in 1912 while campaigning in Milwaukee. The bullet lodged in his chest, but a steel-framed eyeglass case and a thick manuscript of his speech folded in his pocket cushioned the impact. There is a lake in the Dominican Republic called Lake Enriquillo that is home to one of the largest populations of American crocodiles in the world. What is unusual is that this lake is saltier, even saltier than the sea, due to its lack of an outlet to the ocean and high evaporation. The famous Michelin Man mascot, Bibendum, was originally designed to be white, not blue or gray as he is sometimes seen. This is because when he was created in 1898, tires were white, the natural color of rubber. Actor Jim Carrey, for his role as the Grinch in The Grinch, released in 2000, had to undergo training with the Navy to endure the uncomfortable and lengthy makeup process, which sometimes lasted up to 8 hours. He was so desperate that the producer offered him a $20,000 reward to keep him from quitting the film. Cricket has the distinction of being the only major sport still played professionally without standardized rules regarding field size. Tell us in the comments which of these curiosities blew your mind the most. Do not forget to subscribe, like, and share for more fun facts.